The most dangerous men-eating tribe islands. An island where you can be eaten and no one will ever find out. Yes, there are some unknown areas on Earth that cannot be explored, no matter how hard we try. We are talking of the tribe residing on North Sentinel Island, which is regarded as the most dangerous till now. Want to know what happens when you enter this dreadful island? Then stay with us on Country Facts. But before we begin, do subscribe to our channel and make sure you hit that like button. Earth is a great place to live, and it might be the only place where life can be found. Even though technology is making people move forward, there are still some people who are stuck in jungles. There are still jungle tribes all over the world. People like these don't know what's going on in the modern world, but they are very different from the things we need to live that we have now. They don't have good food to eat, so they eat fruits and meat from animals. They also don't have electricity, so they still rely on sunlight and fire at night. They don't have clothes, so they use leaves to cover themselves. And even they don't want to interact with modern society. One such tribe is the Sentinelese, living on North Sentinel Island. North Sentinel is 36 kilometers west of the South Andaman Island town of Wandor, 50 kilometers west of Port Blair, and 59.6 kilometers north of its neighboring island, South Sentinel. It is about 59.67 square kilometers in size and looks like a square. North Sentinel has coral reefs all around it and no natural harbors. The only part of the island that isn't covered in trees is the shore. The island is surrounded by a thin, white sand beach. Behind the beach, the land rises 20 meters and then gradually goes up to between 46 and 122 meters near the center. Around the island, reefs go out about 0.9 to 1.5 kilometers from the shore. The tectonic plate under the island moved because of the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake. This caused the island to rise by 1 to 2 meters. Large parts of the surrounding coral reefs were exposed and turned into permanent dry land or shallow lagoons. This made all the island's borders longer. Tropical and subtropical moist broadleaf forests cover most of the island. Because there haven't been enough surveys, we don't know how the land's plants and animals are made up. Maurice Vidal Portman went to the island in 1880 and wrote that it had a park-like jungle with many groves of bullet wood trees and huge buttressed Malabar silk cotton trees. Indian boar is said to live on the island and is a major source of food for the Sentinelese. Portman heard that there was a huge heap of pig skulls near a Sentinelese village that the Sentinelese ate. The IUCN Red List says that North Sentinel is an important place for coconut crabs, which have disappeared from most of the other Andaman Islands except for South Sentinel and Little Andaman. North Sentinel Island, like South Sentinel, is also considered by BirdLife International to be a globally important bird area. This is because, even though there haven't been any surveys, the pristine habitat is likely home to a wide range of bird species. The sea life around the island hasn't been well studied either. People say that a big coral reef surrounds the island and that mangroves grow along its edges. Divers near the island said in 1999 that the reefs around the island were bleached during the 1998 El Nino, but that coral had grown back since then. Some people say that sharks have also been seen in the water around the island. Portman said that sea turtles are a major food source for the Sentinelese, and in 1999, a survey of the waters around the island showed that one sea turtle and dolphins were there. What's the history of this island? The Onge, one of the native peoples of the Andamans, knew that North Sentinel Island existed. They called it Chia da Coquaya in the past. The British brought Onges to North Sentinel Island in the 19th century. These people could not speak the Sentinelese language, so it is likely that they lived apart for a long time. In 1771, British surveyor John Ritchie saw a multitude of lights from the East India Company hydrographic survey ship Diligent as it passed by the island. In the summer monsoon season of the same year, the Indian merchant ship Nineveh sank on a reef near the planet. The ship's boat took the 106 passengers and crew members who were still alive to the beach, where they fought off attacks from the Sentinelese. A rescue team from the Royal Navy found them in the end. In January 1880, a group of people led by Maurice Vidal Portman, a government official who wanted to learn more about the native people and their ways of life, arrived on North Sentinel Island. The group found a network of paths and a few small villages that had been abandoned. After a few days, a couple in their 70s and 4 children were taken from Sentinel Island and taken to Port Blair, but the couple was dead then. Portman made a second landing on August 27, 1883, after the sound of Krakatoa erupting was mistaken for gunfire and thought to be a ship in trouble. Then, between January 1885 and January 1887, Portman went to the island a few more times. In early 1967, Indian teams were sent to the island every few years for short stays. They were told to make friends with the Sentinelese. In 1975, King Leopold III of Belgium took an Andaman Islands tour. While there, local dignitaries took him on an overnight cruise near North Sentinel Island. In the middle of 1977, the cargo ship MV Russley ran aground on reefs near the coast, and in August 1981, the MV Primrose did the same thing. People know that the Sentinelese took iron from both of the wrecks. Settlers from Port Blair also went to the sites to get the goods back. In 1991, salvage companies were given permission to take the ships apart. After the Primrose ran aground on the North Sentinel Island Reef on August 2, 1981, the crew saw some men building boats on the beach a few days later. The men were carrying spears and arrows. So that his crew could protect themselves, the captain of the Primrose radioed for a quick drop of weapons. They didn't get any because a big storm kept other ships from getting to them. The islanders also couldn't get to the ship because of the rough seas. 1 week later, a helicopter hired by the Indian Oil and Natural Gas Corporation came and saved the crew. But after, did any successful exploration happen on the island? Triloknath Pandit, the director of the Anthropological Survey of India, and his colleagues made the first peaceful contact with the Sentinelese on January 4, 1991. Even though Pandit and his team were able to make friendly contact with the Sentinelese by dropping coconuts and other gifts, they never got any better at understanding their language, and the Sentinelese told them to leave if they stayed too long. Indian tourists stopped going to the island in 1997. The Sentinelese people lived through the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and its effects, like the tsunami and the island rising up. 3 days after the earthquake, an Indian government helicopter saw some islanders who shot arrows at the helicopter and threw spears and rocks at it. Even though the tsunami made it hard for the Sentinelese to fish where they used to, it looks like they've adjusted. So, want to know what'll happen if you enter the island? John Allen Chow, an American missionary who was 26 years old and sent by the Missouri-based organization All Nations, was killed in November 2018 when he went to the restricted island illegally to preach Christianity to the Sentinelese. Indian police took 7 people into custody because they were thought to have helped Chow get to the island illegally. Indian law says you can't go within 5 nautical miles of the island. The fishermen who took Chow to North Sentinel without permission said that they saw tribespeople drag Chow's body along a beach and bury it. Even though Indian authorities tried to find Chow's body and even had a tense meeting with the tribe, his body was not found. Indian officials tried several times to find the body, but in the end, they gave up. So this was all for today's video. What do you think about how many people actually live there? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like today's video, then please do check out more videos like this on our channel, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon for more updates.